to have your boys all set up. All that said, they kick ass every single day. I get a lot of stuff from it when I watch it, and I watch it every day. Birds 365 with John McMullen, who, by the way, I have a date with John. You know when it is, baby? Big Sills has a date with John McMullen. September 5th. How you doing? That's Friday. You know what that is? That's post-game show. Yes, sir. Can't hide from me then. We're ready to rock. Last time we had him down at the shore was one of the best performances by Big Z that we had in the last 2 weeks. Over a 10 share we had with that. That's what I'm going to call it. All right? The man, the myth, the legend, the king of the bucket hat. My boy, Big Z, Zander Krause. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How's the shore, dog?
Shore's great, man. Family's here again, so beautiful weekend ahead of us, but a nice weekend. I'm ready for some football, Sills. I was thinking about that this morning, man. 90 days away from the season kicking off. I feel like the season just ended. You know, we're already 90 days from this thing, man. June 6th. It's a September 4th Thursday kickoff. By the way, I'm gonna have to be Cupid here and maybe move up that date a couple of months. We're not waiting until September 5th for that. That's a Royal Rumble. We need a Summer Slam. We need WrestleMania, and the main event is the football season, Big Sills.
I like that, man. Hey, so I heard you ask John this question. I'm going to ask you. What's been your biggest takeaway this offseason? You know, you asked him about OTAs. I'm going to ask you, your biggest takeaway this offseason has been what?
Positioning themselves for the future, it seems like to me, while also trying to do everything they can to be competitive in 2025. But if you look at what they did with the short-term deals, I mean, it's obvious that they're using a little bit of Band-Aids because they had to make some forward-thinking decisions for the future this summer, and they bandaged it up with 1-year deals. Now, last year they were really successful on those shot in the dark deals. You had Mekhi Becton, you had Zach Vaughn, obviously came from them. So I'm not saying you're going to have that, but do you have competent players that allow you to, you know, be in the position to repeat this year? I do think they have a good enough core offensively and defensively to be in the conversation. And I think what they did this summer really was made the picture for 26, 27, and 28 look better, or at least start to come into frame a little bit more so. But that's what I would say. It's a little bit of a restructuring offseason. I think they've done a lot differently than what they did in the last 2 times they were in the Super Bowl in the last decade. And that's the one they won in 17 and the one they lost in 22. I think they handled this offseason much different.
I'm going to rephrase the question I asked you yesterday, and I'm going to do it here. Do you believe that the Eagles are going to have Barkley go for 340 carries this year? And if you do believe that, is that the recipe for the Super Bowl again? 340 carries is what led to a legendary season that he had, and a season that he ended up running the team through a finish line. Does he have to be around that number again? 300, 320, 340? Does he have to be in that conversation again for that team to repeat?
Oh, I don't think it could hurt. It depends on how the season goes. But did you hear his comments about retiring?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're going to say that. All right, we're going to run you 400 times, man, until those wheels come off. If you can hang them up at any moment, then what are we saving this thing for? So, no, I told you what I'm interested to see is I think post-bye week, Sills, there's no guardrails. But pre-bye week, I'd be curious to see what their approach is because I know you want to win. I know certain games might call for that, but do you want to run up Saquon Barkley 30 carries in a game, you know, before the bye week in those first 8 weeks? I understand if they do it, but I would also understand if they said, let's at least wait to take the guardrails off till post-bye week, then really let him ramp up because he did show he can handle the workload. Now the question will be, what type of longevity does he have after that? And will it, you know, you always do that thing with the pencil, you know, tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Is any of that adding up? We'll have to see.
How many wins do you think it's going to take this year to be a postseason team in the NFC playoffs? You think it's going to take north of 10? How much do you think the NFC has increased? How much do you think it's gotten better? Do you think the NFC East itself could there be potentially 3 teams with 10 wins
That's what I think.
in
I
that
do.
in that division? So,
I
do you
honestly
think it's
so.
north of 10 this year?
I think 10. Let's run through it real quick. I'm going to just give you the 7 teams off the top of my head that I would potentially think would make the playoffs in the NFC. Obviously, these could vary. Obviously, I'm not going to be right on all 7 of them. I think the Eagles and the Commanders are locks. I think.
You think they're north of 10 wins?
I do. I think both those teams are north of 10 wins.
Okay,
I think Detroit's a lock. I think the Rams are a lock. I think the Bucks are probably a lock based
in a
on their
shitty
division. Yes, in a shitty division, they're
That's
probably
5.
a lock. I got to go somewhere in the NFC North.
You think the Cowboys are a 10-win team?
I was going to go Cowboys at 7. Who's that other NFC North team I'm missing? I don't want to go Packers. I'm not so fully sold on them.
The
Vikings.
Bears?
Vikings are a tough buy right now too. No, I don't think the Bears are going to be. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to make that jump.
About
Probably
the
Vikings, Packers. Yeah, 49ers. I mean, I think the 49ers could realistically get back in. You know, that would push probably the Cowboys out. I don't know if the Cowboys, I mean, I know I've told you guys, I think the Cowboys could be second in the NFC East, but they do have an uphill battle. There's no doubt about it. Especially if you think about the 49ers, the Packers, Sills,
Rams.
Well, I said the Rams, but and the Rams are what? NFC South? No, West.
Yes.
NFC West. Who else could contend in that division? Seahawks.
Seattle.
I don't see that.
Look, Sam Darnold. I mean, look, I think Sam Darnold's a bum, but he won 14.
Yeah, he did lead the. Yeah, right. He did lead the Lions.
I mean, he won 14 ball games. So Sander.
Now that team's not as good as Detroit was last year. That team doesn't have the manpower.
Not. Absolutely not. But look at this: Eagles 10 wins, Commanders 10 wins, Lions 10 wins, Bucks 10 wins, Rams 10 wins. I got the Cowboys with 10 wins. You're sitting at 6, one more.
Right. Right. I think all those teams are 10-win teams too.
Could you be surprised with the Packers?
I think the question on the win thing is going to be how do the second teams in the NFC East do, and how do the second teams in the NFC North do? Because if you have those NFC North teams, you know, and again, remember last year, dude, there was like, you know, the Vikings won 14 games and didn't even win the North. You know, so that was like a 15, 14, 12, or 13. I forgot what the Packers won last year, but does the NFC East have that this year where you have Eagles 13, Commanders 12, and Cowboys 10, or Commanders 11, Cowboys 10, somewhere in there? Maybe vice versa.
Those guys are playing tough schedules. Those guys are playing tough schedules in that division this year, too. Everybody's playing pretty tough schedules. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
All the way down to what? So I would say this. I think there's a great chance you're going to need 10 wins or more to make the NFC playoffs this year. And I'm gonna make it very clear here to people, and I keep saying this. Zander, my team's over in the AFC. I got Bills. I've got Ravens. I've got Bengals.
You think Bengals get back on track?
Oh, yeah. I got Texans. I'll tell you what, Joe Burrow will leave if they don't. I've got Chiefs. No, I don't have Chiefs. I have Chargers, and I have Broncos. 1, 2, 3.
So you think the Chargers are going to win that division with the Chiefs?
I do. I do not believe in the talent. Okay, let's take Mahomes out of the conversation for a second with the Chiefs. Chris Jones, Creed Humphrey, and McDuffie. Who else you think there's a top flight guy in that team?
Nobody.
I don't think they've retooled
anymore. They lost. Didn't they lose an offensive lineman this year,
yeah,
too?
the kid Tooney's now up in
Tooney with Chicago.
He's one of the highest rated guards in the league.
So you lost him. It depends. Yo, you agree this? If Patrick Mahomes does will that team to the playoffs, that dude is rare.
Oh my God.
I mean, here's the one thing that you can't take from Patrick Mahomes right now that you maybe can't make the argument for the other guys who are in the elite conversation. Patrick Mahomes has uplifted every team, even teams that didn't feel like they were built to win, more so than any other team. Like he took lesser teams further than those Bills teams. He took lesser teams than the Ravens team.
I
Yeah.
didn't think that
Dude,
team.
the 23 team that beat the Niners. Remember, they
Yeah.
were middle of the road midway
Yep.
through that year.
Yep.
They were not even supposed to, like, they were people talking about where they're going to make the playoffs, and then they exploded in the playoffs and obviously won the Super Bowl. So I think Mahomes really still has that feather in his cap where he just, I don't know, until I'm proven otherwise, Sills, where he's not going to have a good football team, how am I going to pick the Chargers? I mean, I can't pick the Chargers in that division.
I think Jim Harbaugh is going to. Here's one.
Yeah, but you're not betting only on Jim Harbaugh. You're betting on Patrick Mahomes not being able to continue what he's done.
I'm betting on Jim Harbaugh because Harbaugh's won everywhere he's gone. He's taken a team. That guy took Colin.
Jim Harbaugh never had to face Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that guy did take Colin Kaepernick to a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did. But
I mean,
Andy Reid and
guess
Mahomes
what? If they don't turn the lights out, they may win that game.
When's the last time somebody else won in that division?
Oh, it's been a spell. It's been. I can't. Hell, man, they must have 5 straight AFC championships now.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
23 Chiefs, 22 Chiefs, 21 Chiefs, 20 Chiefs, 19 Chiefs, 18 Chiefs, 17 Chiefs. Now I'd have to open the full list to see.
You're almost talking about a
16 Chiefs. So, and then before that, it was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 2011, 2015 was the Broncos. So it was Broncos for what, 5 years? And then Chiefs now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 years.
Man.
9 years.
And Mahomes,
9 straight years.
And get this,
Mahomes has been a quarterback here for 9 years.
Well, no.
He's won the division every year.
Actually, Alex Smith won the division too.
Won what? The first one. He won the first one. And then Mahomes took it. Yep.
That's right.
Dude, so you're telling me, wait a second. So you're telling me, okay?
Yeah.
You're telling me that ever since Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have played a full season together, they have won the AFC West. And you're going to say that Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh are going to knock them off.
Yeah, because shit doesn't last forever. Ask New England.
Yeah, no, I know it doesn't. I'm just saying I think Patrick Mahomes is still in his prime.
Oh, I think there's nothing wrong with him. Remember though, Zander, last year you had 12 one-score games that you won. And also, people have to remember, Brady went 10 years in between winning 2 Super Bowls to the next one. That is not something that is going to be a given that division is going to be theirs, man. I mean, I think a lot of teams in that, I think the Broncos got better. I think the Chargers are getting better. I don't think that's going to be some sort of like easy road for them. And I think the competition, you even hear the way PFF talks about Mahomes, and I agree with you. He's the eraser, dude. You can put him, he's probably, do you not agree? He's probably the LeBron James in his prime, where you could take a quarterback and he can almost take every single roster to a Super Bowl.
That's actually a good comp. LeBron led between Cleveland and Miami, and then Cleveland again. He went to what, 10 straight finals?
10 straight finals. So you could probably put him in Carolina, and they could possibly win the NFC South.
That's crazy. That was a crazy feat, by the way, by LeBron. That was like peak era of
There's
LeBron.
only one other group of men that have ever done that, and that's those Celtics guys from the 60s.
Right.
Nobody's ever done that. And LeBron did that in an era now where you have free agency. Remember, they didn't have free agency then. Okay?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy run. That's a good comp.
Yeah, I think he's the only guy you could put him anywhere. Maybe not.
I mean, he's got 3 rings. Mahomes got what, 3 rings already? 3 rings. He's been to 5 Super Bowls.
5 Super Bowl appearances. I think he's got 3 Super Bowls, and I think he's got 5 AFC championship rings.
Yeah.
And he's 29.
3 and 2 in the Super Bowl. And I will say this, he has had some shoddy Super Bowl performances.
Yeah.
A couple. No. First one versus Brady. That was terrible.
What was his best Super Bowl performance from quarter?
Probably the one versus the Niners.
The one in overtime?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Chiefs,
remember,
Niners.
He didn't play that hot in the first half.
No, remember, he didn't, but he did have 330 and 2 touchdowns.
In 5 quarters.
And 9 carries for 66 yards.
Yep.
5 quarters. I mean, you're right, he started slow, but
5 quarters he played to get those numbers.
Yeah, so I mean, he was 34, 46 for 333 and 2 touchdowns. Now,
that's
I'm just saying, you asked what the best one was. That was probably the best one. Because the one he beat us in, he had like 180 passing yards.
Yeah, he did.
But
had
he was
a great fourth
in that game. He was efficient in that game.
He had a great fourth quarter in that game.
Yeah, right.
So
when Jonathan Gannon and the defense melted down.
I want to show you something here. PFF is pretty good this year. Here, look at this wide receivers rankings. AJ Brown, they got him number 1. Like, look at the top 5 guys here. You got AJ, Justin, Jamar Chase, Ahmad St. Brown, Puka Nacua, CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins.
What's this? Top 5 what? Receivers,
wide receivers.
For what? Just in general?
No, this is the top. This is what they got him ranked.
For who? Who? My bad.
PFF has AJ ranked 1,
Okay.
Justin 2, Jamar Chase 3, Ahmad St. Brown 4, and Puka Nacua 5. I'd probably put CD there at 5, right?
Yeah, over Puka.
Yeah.
Puka's versatile, man. I do like the way he plays the game, but I don't think you can put him over CeeDee Lamb.
No, but that's pretty.
By the way, what a great super chat earlier today by Anthony Wilson.
About?
Just an Ohio State guy who obviously knows that Devontae Smith is a better player than Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I did like I said, man. All you got to do is just talk to Hall of Famers and Hall of Fame voters.
Oh yeah, but
nobody in Philly.
Michael Irvin didn't text you back. I know he takes 4 days. You told me that.
Okay,
He takes 4 days on every text. Now all of a sudden Michael Irvin checks in right away. I'm not buying it, Sileo.
Okay, here. I'm going to send Zander this text. Since he's calling me
I will confirm right here on the air if you are lying.
Okay, here. So I took a screenshot of it. Because I knew Zander would do this.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Hey, hang on here. Where is that? Where can I send it?
I knew Zander would do this.
Okay, hang on for a second here. And let's put Zander here. And we put Big Z. I got him listed as Big Z, believe it or not.
Let's see what you got. Let's see if anything comes over to the cell phone. Let's see. Michael Irvin didn't say Terry was better than Smitty. Oh, he did. Oh no. Mike, who would you take? Devontae Smith or Terry McLaurin? Terry. Yeah. Would I sound insane?
I was shocked too. The guy takes 7 months to get back to me.
Oh, wait, I don't want to show it. Yeah, the numbers there. I don't want to show it. Wait. Am I insane if I say Michael Irvin don't know shit?
No, you're a fan. No, you're not.
I'm taking Devontae Smith. I think Michael Irvin would too. Put him on a polygraph. He'll take Smitty.
Do me a favor. Wake me up when he plays against the number 1 corner every week. Then we'll talk about whether or not he's
Reyes. That's not my font, dude. That's Silio's font. That was a screenshot. Look at him. He's like,
I have to have him big, dude.
Yeah, that's the magnifying glass font, man. That's not my font.
Hey, I have to have him big here, man. Hey, check this out, though, man. Listen to this shit. Here's your tackles, man. I've never seen anything like this. The best tackles in football. I am shocked that they put Jordan Mailata number 1 over Tristan Wirfs. And there he is. Mailata was the most complete. Listen to the fucking headline. Mailata was the most complete offensive lineman in the National Football League in 2024. It is bold print. Like, he's the best lineman. This guy was a 7th round draft choice. Zander, is that Howie Roseman's greatest draft pick?
Wow. Yeah, but that wasn't. I mean, you. If anybody watched the Eagles Unscripted this year from the draft, and I give credit to Howie for this, but this isn't Howie like going through the boards and saying, "Oh, I like that play." Like he puts the picks in, but that was probably more of a Jeff Stoutland pick. That was probably more the scout pick. He the way I like the way Howie does it, but he kind of lays everybody out on day 3. He's like, I want guys with traits with upside. I don't just want the 250th best player in the draft. That's not what I want. I want players with traits. So that was probably more of a Stoutland pick, but it does come under Howie. Look, if he has to take the fallout of Jalen Reagor, all right, for Doug, he gets the credit then for a guy like Jordan Mailata. So yes, but no. It wasn't his best pick ever.
They got Lane.
The best pick ever. The best pick ever was when this organization was spiraling before. I'm not giving you baloney. I truly believe this. I truly believe this in my heart. When you have an organization that was about to spiral because things weren't working with their starting quarterback, when that really messes up other franchises, and most other franchises would not be able to move on from that. Howie put in a card for a quarterback. Now, whether he wanted him to be the starter or not is not the point. We had a safeguard that worked out better, and most other teams would have been in purgatory for how many years after moving on from a starting quarterback like that?
Could be 20.
So I think Jalen Hurts honestly was the greatest pick of all time because you've now had 4 straight seasons of playoff appearances. You've had 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years and another Super Bowl ring coming off the previous regime of a head coach and quarterback. So, look, Mailata was the bigger pick in terms of you take a 7th rounder and turn him into the best tackle, but the most franchise-altering pick in the last decade was 100% Jalen Hurts. And I mean that from my honest opinion. I'm not saying that to joke with you or, I really believe that. Yeah.
I believe you're right, and I'm going to make this point to you here. I said this about Hurts today, and I believe this because I made the comment this morning about this. Don't you agree about Brady? Brady's the greatest teammate. Brady was the best studier and the best student of the game. And Brady was the smartest quarterback in history. You know why people miss on quarterbacks? You see those 3 intangibles? It has nothing to do with arm strength. It has nothing to do with athleticism. Look at Peyton Manning. How would you know any of that when he lost 4 times to Florida at Tennessee? Remember, when Tennessee won the national title, it wasn't him. He wasn't the starting quarterback there. It was Martin. T. Martin was the starting quarterback when they won the national title at Tennessee. People are going, he won. No, he did not. He won that after Peyton. Peyton never beat Florida. So, but what made Peyton great? Student of the game. Great practice guy. Teammates loved him. Brady too. I would make this comment to you that Jalen Hurts, his teammates love him. Okay? He's a student of the game. He's one of the smarter guys in the league. Okay? He's totally a student of the game. He works at the game, and he's smart. He's smarter than Lamar Jackson. Just the way he approaches the game. Is he better as a talent? No. But that doesn't win Super Bowls, Zander.
I know.
Those 3 intangibles, in my opinion, win Super Bowls. You don't have to. Would you ever say Brady had the biggest arm in NFL history? No. Would you say he was a great athlete? That fucking guy couldn't jump over a stack of quarters. But when you saw his 5'4", 40, but he was the smartest guy, he was the greatest teammate, and he was a student of the game. I think that's the thing that makes Jalen Hurts separate from every single one of those other guys, including Joe Burrow. I think he's better than all those guys at that, and that's what makes him a winner. Because like you said we said yesterday, can you imagine doing this? Hey, dude, I don't want you to throw the ball. That is such an indictment for a quarterback to go, fuck you. But yet he does this. Okay, what's ever in the cards to win, I don't care how you paint it. How many times you hear him say this? I don't care what it looks like. We're going to win. I don't care if it means I have to play well or I have to throw this or I don't care. Players in today's NFL don't have that kind of ego not have the humility.
You couldn't say that blanketly about the whole NFL, I don't think.
No
Jalen
way.
Hurts you can say that about. Yeah, Jalen Hurts you can say that about. Listen, there's a Hall of Fame of statisticians, and there's a Hall of Fame of winners. All right? Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, maybe even a guy like a Dak Prescott, they will be the modern day stat guys. Now, maybe some of them have a chance to win some Super Bowls and put themselves in the winner category. I believe that. I think Lamar will ultimately eventually get there, maybe. I think Josh Allen will win one. I believe that. I believe Josh Allen will win a Super Bowl. And then there's the Hall of Fame of winners, and Jalen Hurts falls in that category, my friend.
Okay. So here's the only thing that I would say to you about that. So you think if Derrick Henry ends up his career 14,000 rushing yards,
Well, I do think it applies differently for
those are
quarterbacks.
stats and not accomplishments?
Well, don't you think it's different for quarterbacks, though? Because like you just said, right? Exactly like you just said about how Jalen Hurts is a smart quarterback. No other player, no other position on the field has that type of impact and, impact on the game. It doesn't exist outside of the quarterback. So while I agree with you, yeah, you
It's
can't
more
say
than
Derrick Henry.
numbers. At
Yeah,
that
it's
position.
got to be. It has to be more than numbers at that position. Because if it's not, all you're going to end up with is numbers in the end. And as good as they are, they don't put a ring on your finger. Ask Tom Brady, who lost the greatest Super Bowl he ever played with over 500 passing yards. So,
I think you're right. I think every player. I don't think everything. It's a blanket conversation, because to me, when I see a guy with 18 or 20 sacks, Reggie White's career with 23 sacks or 22 sacks that one year he had in Philly, dude, that's not stats. That's an accomplishment. Those are. I mean, with double-digit sack years, multiple in the NFL, to me, is accomplishments. I mean, those are fun. I mean, Derrick Henry having 1,500-yard rushing years.
Yeah, that's not to say it's not impressive, right? But don't you agree that in football, because it's an ultimate team game, the way that we judge individual players and talent and personal accolades and statistics, while it will always be a thing, and I agree with you, it's partly how players get paid and a big part of that, it will always have to be viewed differently than how you compare success, winning as a football team, as a leader, as a winner, all those different things. I mean, they are really different categories.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're going to compare Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith, okay, both guys phenomenal players during their same decade. Well, Emmitt Smith has 3 Super Bowl rings. Barry has none. And Emmitt is the all-time leading rusher. But if you watched one of them, somebody's going to go like this, like Barkley will say, hey, man, you can't tell me Barry Sanders is not the best running back. I get it. You're right. But how you gauge a guy and how you rank a guy, that at the end of the day comes with Super Bowls. I got another question here for you. So let me throw this at you here. Oh, yeah. Here's where I'm going. I want to get to this one here. Okay, here it is. I want to go down here to this. Let's see here. Here's the safety position. Kyle Hamilton is one. This is what I love about PFF. This got nothing to do with Super Bowls. These are the best players at their respective positions in the league. And why?
Well, it is graded, though, on their scales.
Well, like it's graded. It's graded as the best guys in their sport at the position.
Yeah, no, but again, so that would mean you have to subscribe that PFF's grading system is your favorite method of grading players. It's not mine.
Well, to me, what it does, it's just a metric. I mean, like,
it is. It's a metric, and it's fair to use it as that.
I think they got AJ Wright being the best.
Yeah, but I actually don't think that was the grades. He wasn't the highest graded receiver last year. He was the highest ranked by one of their raters.
I don't know, man, but when I look at that list and I go, who would you take right now as the best receiver in the game? I've said it for 2 years. I give the guy shit, but man, I'm telling you, in the run game, pass game, there's no coincidence that he blocked for Derrick Henry and he's blocked for Saquon Barkley, and he's blocked for 3 different guys who have made the Pro Bowl at running back, and he's put 1,500 yards up. Dude, there's something to that. I don't know, man.
No, you're right. You're right about that. No doubt. No doubt.
Here's what they got. They got Kyle Hamilton 1, Xavier McKinney 2nd over Bates. I don't know. You can debate that one. Antonio Winfield 4th. I can't believe the Lions and what they've done, Brad Holmes, with these 2 safeties. They got Brian Branch at 5, and they got Kirby Joseph at 6. So the Lions have the 2 best safeties in pro football. Derwin James 7, Budda Baker 9, Brandon Jones from the Denver Broncos 7 or 9, Javon Holland from the Giants 10, Julian Love from the Seahawks 11, Jabril Peppers from New England is 12, Gardner Johnson, it's not a bad rating for him, at 13. Houston, he had a great year a year ago. Justin Reed, Saints 14, and there's Reed Blankenship sitting there at 15. While Blankenship formed one of the best safety duos in the NFL with Gardner Johnson in 24, he was less effective individually compared to the previous season. These are the free agents, Zander, that are going to be free agents at the end of this year. I wonder how many of these players the Eagles are going to allow to go into their final year. Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Jahan Dotson, Grant Calcaterra, and Kenyon Green. The rest of the other guys are special teams dudes. These are the 5 main guys that the Eagles.
Yeah, I think only one of them is going to get signed.
Who's that?
You said it's who? Dean,
Reed, Dotson, Katera, and Kenyon. Now, again.
Yeah, I think it's Reed. It's Reed. It's going to be Reed. I think they're going to pay Reed.
I don't believe.
Are you going to rip that move?
What's that?
You going to rip that move if they pay him?
No.
I don't get the feeling it'd be your favorite signing just because of how they're prioritizing the players.
Yeah, no. Dude, when you hear other people saying how important he is, you know what? Reed Blankenship may not be important in Washington or Chicago, but he's important in Philly on what he wants back there.
Yeah, but, again, and I'll pull a you here, all right? So, Dan, Jordan Davis is important to Philly, and you go, okay, at what price? Right? I mean, that's my question on Reed. At what price? Where are they going to go? Because they do got all those guys to pay still.
Bro, I'm not paying him though until the end of the season. I'm not paying him going in. I'm going to let him play his final season.
You're going to risk him wanting to get into free agency.
Go ahead. Okay, wait a minute. Go ahead. I did it with Zach Bond too.
No. Bond was different. Bond was a 1-year deal who never expected to be playing the role he was, who himself is just as surprised by his success at that position as we are.
He is.
And he signed 2 weeks before free agency started, so he agreed, or him and the team. Now, there was mutual respect there. But Reed's been here. Reed knows he's eligible for a contract now. They could pay Reed at any point. Like, you don't sign a 1-year guy and then give him an extension.
No.
You let him play the year.
I think they're going to treat him. I think they're going to treat him like Bond. If they're going to sign him, they're going to.
They let him get to the end of the year. I think he's going to pull a Milton Williams and say, "I'll test the market."
Okay.
Remember, you got if you.
Well, I'm not paying him north of 10.
I think 10 is the number.
Me too. You
10's
think
the number?
Hey, I'm going to wait until I'm going to treat him like I did Zach Bond. I'm going to see him out there on the field, how he meshes with everybody. What if that kid, Makuba, ends up turning out to be a great football player and Sidney Brown actually fulfills his destiny? Are you still giving that guy 10?
Yeah, you're probably not. I speculated this, Sills, when they drafted Makuba, and I said everybody was like immediately like, okay, Reed and either Sidney or Makuba. And I was like, is it possible it's Makuba and Sidney? I could see that.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I could see that happening business-wise, but my brain is not processing right now us having a good defense with Sidney Brown and Makuba as our starting safeties. It's not.
Did you have that? Hey, I'm going to pull him. Wait a minute here. I'm going to pull a you now.
Okay.
You, okay? Well, I didn't think that fucking Zach Bond was anybody a year ago, and he turns out to be the best backer. He's rated the second best linebacker in pro football.
He is an exception, though. Now, did you hear what John? Now, I don't think you heard this because it was probably close to your 10 a.m. radio show that was about to kick off. So I'm not sure what time you turned off Birds 365 today. But Johnny Mack said something really interesting about what's going on at OTAs with Zach Bond right now. They have him working with Jeremiah Washburn. Jeremiah Washburn.
Knew it.
Wait, so listen to this. And then if you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, Zach Bond is now working with Jeremiah Washburn. Vic also said he wants Jahad Campbell, a guy who clearly has rushing ability, to learn off-ball linebacker. So hear me out. Vic doesn't blitz, but Vic does what? He zone blitzes, where you can have those two backers. You can tease the quarterbacks. They won't know which one's coming. And now you have Jahad Campbell and Zach Bond Both of them are capable of rushing the passer. Both of them are capable of being off-ball linebackers. Now Vic is the most versatile set of linebackers in the league that fits his defense perfectly.
What an absolutely big sales, super sales 2025 I am fucking having. I flat out said they're going to move Vaughn outside and rush him more from outside because he's more versatile.
I don't know if they'll move him outside, but I think they could use him out there. I think that what they're trying to do is those zone blitzes. I think they're going to try and do those zone blitzes, though, with the backers, where you drop one and send one. That's what I think he's going to do.
I said they were putting him out there, and they were, because there was a question when Vic Fangio, that's where I got it from more so than anything. When Vic Fangio was asked, he goes, yeah, we're playing him out. And I heard Vaughn even saying, yeah, they're playing me out there more. We're kind of going across the board here. And then when Campbell, he asked the question on Campbell, King goes, no, we're playing him off linebacker, and that's where he's going to start. And then they started pressing him. He goes, no. Well, maybe, I don't know. But we're playing him inside. So you're going to look in base potentially, or no, maybe a nickel, where you're going to see Vaughn rushing off the corner, and you're going to have Campbell and Dean.
Yeah, I think they'd use Campbell more at the edge and keep Vaughn toward the middle. But if Vaughn has that ability, think about how much freedom that gives you from a defensive standpoint and how you can trick quarterbacks, because they can look and say every one of these guys could rush or could stay. That's going to make quarterbacks go crazy. So I think if this works out, John said that to me today, and I'm like, holy shit, I got to press on that one on Monday. So thought that was interesting.
Okay, who do you think is the most versatile and important player between these two, Zach Bond or Cooper DeJean?
Cooper DeJean's 22 years old.
If I'm putting him outside rushing, and I'm bringing him inside, and he's the best inside linebacker.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That fucker turns out to be Michael Parsons 2.0.
Yeah, but here's the problem, all right? You are talking to a fan here, and Cooper was drafted to Philly, pick 6 at 21, turning 22 years old in the Super Bowl. Dude's getting honeys down at the Jersey Shore. This dude is Philly. This dude is taking over Philly. You can't tell me. Look, I love Zach Bond. All right, I do. But he's been here 1 year. Guy's 28. He might have, 3-4 year career here in Philly total, Coop might be here for the whole way through, baby. All right. Cooper DeJean is the new Mr. Philly, baby. Are you kidding me?
This guy's going to be picking the Hooters Chick of the Month pretty soon. I mean, this guy's down at the shore doing it all here. All right, Big Z, let's read some of these supers, my friend.
So we got Farsi coming up 4:30. Nice Friday afternoon, by the way. A little football Friday here on the National Football. Fly Eagles Fly says, got to keep the exciting whites together. So you want to keep Reed. She wants to sign Reed because Coop ain't going anywhere.
No way. That kid's going to be the face of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, does that matter at all, though, in the modern game? Think about it. Like keeping players that are buddy together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Camaraderie, chemistry, things like that on the field. Like I do, especially the modern player sales where, back in your day, it was a little bit more like, wherever I'm getting paid, I'm showing up, I'm going to work. Today, it's a little bit more, players don't want to be yelled at. I like all these different things of today. I think it worked. I think it's more important now than it was then.
Well, then let me ask you this. How much do you think that played into Jordan Davis getting that 50-year option?
I think a lot.
That Jalen Carter plays next to him.
I think it also plays into Kobe Dean. And I think it plays into Nolan Smith as well. So keep your eye on all these Georgia guys that the Eagles have right now. While it's been a blessing for this team to have them, is it something they don't want to break up? Is it something that creates issues if it does get broken up? I don't think it would, honestly, because I think, 4 of them are here and 1 goes. It's kind of business in the NFL. But I do think there is a little bit of acknowledgement, at least, of chemistry and things like that.
Let me tell you what, again, the difference in hiring mercenaries, which you guys were in the past notorious for, that 2017 team, that roster, don't you think that was missionary? That was just like mercenaries. I mean, you had free agent mercenaries. Yeah. Now you have base guys that you've drafted. There's something about drafting guys being part of a culture versus hired hands.
A lot of
So
talk about these Georgia boys, though, Sills. But there's somebody. I gave you some homework yesterday. I know you didn't go do it because you were speaking the same bullshit today. But here's a little more homework. We talk a lot about Georgia Bulldog. The Crimson Tide is still here in Philly because Jahad Campbell. Sills, go turn on the Campbell tape. Start to envision next to Zach Bond. Start to envision them with Jalen Carter wreaking havoc up front. Nolan Smith off the edge. Jalix Hunt taking a step forward. Start to research what Jahad Campbell can do for this team because you're going to be singing his praises no later than week 12. I 100% guarantee it.
Week 1 he's playing? Doubtful.
No, that's why I said by week 12.
Week 12?
No, you'll be singing his praises by week 12.
Oh, by week 12, we'll be singing his praises.
You were singing Cooper's praises by what, week 6?
Shit, week 5.
I think his first game was week what, 5 or 5?
Fuck,
no,
man.
6 because they had bye week was 5.
I did not believe that guy could bring that kind of energy into a locker room and into a team like that. He did, man. He changed. I'll tell you what, he made
just claimed a running back off waivers.
Who?
Keelan Robinson from the Jaguars.
Keelan Robinson.
Jaguars released a former 5th rounder earlier this week.
The Eagles continue to shop at Temu.
Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl, and there's nothing.
Another Temu signing.
I'll see you at the parade next year. And by the way, you have no choice but to be in the city of brotherly love for the parade next year. Kyle Kokorski. Kyle says, this reminds me of the 2 linebackers Niners had 14 years ago, Bowman and Willis.
Who? You got one linebacker. Dean's not going to be ready for the start of the year, and nor is Campbell. You got Zach Bond right now, and you got Trotter. Who's that?
Dude, let's see. Anthony Wilson says, Zander, my sons are around your age. They went to high school in Hartsteller, Alabama. It was hard. 4 of us living in Alabama being Ohio State fan. Wait a second. All right. I've been in the state of Alabama. I've driven all through the state of Alabama. It must have been miserable for Anthony Wilson as an Ohio State fan to live in the state of Alabama. It is. They don't have college football or pro football teams. It's Alabama or it's Auburn in Alabama. Anthony, I know, Anthony, wait. I know deep down. I know it. Deep down in Anthony's heart. He's got a little love for the Crimson Tide. Anybody that respects greatness, anybody that respects dominance, and people who reach the pinnacle of their profession, which I know Anthony does. He's got a little love for Nick Saban. It got a lot easier to hate him again with this stiff they have in there now as the head coach.
Anthony, why don't you educate this kid that most of the folks that live in Alabama don't really root for that team? Okay? They don't. They root for the teams from out west, like Southern Cal, and they root for teams in the Big Ten. You know why?
Last time you stepped foot in the state of Alabama?
Now, it's changed big time.
It's
but
in
the 70s and 80s, players in the Southeastern Conference did not stay in the Southeastern Conference.
It ain't the 70s and 80s anymore, man. The SEC
I get this. I get it. It's changed. But, Anthony, how many folks did you grow up with rooting for Alabama? Let's see what he says.
Anthony
I know.
Anthony can just say this. There's 4 of us. We're all Bama fans.
Yeah.
If you're in Anthony Wilson's man cave in his house, you put on the wall, there's a big Ohio State plaque. You pull it off the wall, and what is there underneath? A big, beautiful, glowing Alabama A on the wall. Man. I love it, Anthony Wilson. I know it, my friend. I know it.
All right, we shall see here. Thank you, El. Yippee.
Appreciate it. Let me just read the other one, Anthony. This is a great take by Anthony Wilson. Sorry for your loss. Now I got beef with you. I'm an Ohio State fan and alumni, so I love Scary Terry. Furthermore, I hate Bama. Fake news. But Smitty is way better player. You had to be trolled, and Sileo was so off base yesterday. He's still recovering.
I know. Me, Michael Irvin, and a Hall of Fame voter were off base. I know. I know.
Wait a second. All right, wait. What else did Michael Irvin say?
And let me
about the quarterback of the Eagles, about the head coach of the Eagles.
Okay.
All
He
right,
said
so
he
I'll
was
make sure I
late.
say that about them now when you keep chirping.
Let me see
Kyle
here.
says, I drove through Alabama. All I saw was dirt and grass and saw them having Saints flags. Nah, you probably came from New Orleans, man. They do got a lot of New Orleans fans. Not in
They got a
Bama,
lot
though.
of
It's
LSU
mostly
fans.
Louisiana.
So
Louisiana's fun.
let me get another.
Zay,
hold.
you know I love Georgia, but we are Saban's Bama tree. Yes, you are. Kirby Smart was the first. Kimberly, I'm sure you know this. Kirby Smart was the first Nick Saban assistant who became a head coach to actually beat Nick Saban in a head-to-head game. I'm sure you know that, Kimberly.
I think the second was what's his name? The guy at A&M. Was it the guy at A&M?
Yeah, Jimbo.
Yeah, Dumbo.
I hate Jimbo.
Yeah,
I hate Dumbo. I hate him.
Me too.
He's my least favorite college coach, probably.
Yep. I hate Dumbo Fisher.
So look, Anthony's reeling. Anthony, we all know you're lying now, my friend. Sills is right. A lot of LSU and Georgia fans. No, it's not. No, it's not. There's Alabama fans all over the place.
But Anthony, why would you pick Ohio State?
Anthony, wait. When you get out, when you pour yourself a glass of whiskey tonight, or whatever it is you do for yourself, all right? I want you to slide the whiskey glass that has the Ohio State, move it to the side, and pull out that one in the back of the cupboard that's got the big Alabama Crimson Tide A on it. Pull that out and pour yourself a glass of whiskey tonight on the Crimson Tide.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask Keyshawn Johnson that question. Who would you take, Terry McLaurin, or would you take Devontae Smith? Let's see Keyshawn what he says.
All right, we got a major pause on the super chat. You ready?
Yeah.
Tell me, why do you got to do this to me on a football Friday and a bucket hat on the porch? He says, that missionary Freudian slip gave me a vision of Sills on top, and it just ruined my weekend already.
Man, really creepy. Hey, dude, I'm trying to enjoy my Friday. You're fucking
I know,
it up,
man.
man.
I got like a nice cold drink on ice here and shit.
Right.
Like,
Xander's got a drink.
Fleming.
Xander's got a drink. He's near the beach.
It's just a seltzer, so
it's an easy Friday, and this guy's saying on top. Come on, bro. It's Friday, man. Give us a break.
Come on, B Flem.
Holy cow,
B Flem, you got to be kidding me, dog. That is crazy. All right, Sills.
So wait.
You still recovering from it yesterday? You got taken to the woodshed?
Yeah, woodshed. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, the number 2 guy in the building. It's okay. Yeah, hey, you know what? I knew. Again, you can't debate Eagle guys.
If the communists were competent enough to get A.J. Brown on their team, what would Terry be on that team?
He'd be a 1.
No, he wouldn't. Over A.J.? No, he wouldn't.
Oh, no, over A.J., no.
Over A.J., that's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay, well, A.J.'s the best receiver in the game. Okay, your other guy.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I don't use better twos. That's why I don't think it's a knock on Devontae Smith. Ask Farsi. Farsi will have a good answer for you. Mark, if you're listening, Devontae Smith or Terry McLaurin, who do you take? We'll see what he's got to say.
I'll bring him up. Xander, great stuff this week. Okay.
All right, Sills. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. See you
guys. Guys, great stuff. Please hit the like button here. So again, I showed you guys Michael Irvin and what he said, or Xander did. We asked the question. I mean, PFF just got through ranking, and I don't know, you don't really need PFF. And again, we were having a nice debate yesterday, and then we had a Hall of Fame voter on, Jason Cole, and I asked the question, if you had to pick between Terry McLaurin and you had to pick between Devontae Smith, who's the better player? And I think anybody outside of Philly would tell you it's McLaurin because he's the number 1 guy, and he plays against the number 1 corners. Remember, he's the Z. He's the second best player at the wide receiver position. He doesn't take on the top flight corners, and they don't flip receivers. McLaurin takes on the best DBs, and that's why PFF ranked him 10th too. And again, this guy had Sam Howell throwing him the ball. Sam fucking Howell. Who's that? Like Thurston Howell III, the guy in Gilligan's Island. Right? I mean, come on now, man. All right, Jesus. Hey, listen, I'm not going to argue with Philly fan. There's just no way. Dude, if you signed a trash pail and you brought him in, that's the best cornerback I've ever seen. Wait a minute. This guy, Dory Jackson, just got whacked in New York. This guy's going to compete. He's an all-pro. They took a shit. Now, then again, not that they're smart in New York. Okay? All right. All right. With all that being said, so I get this. I can't wait to ask Farzy this. So I got a battle royale set up.